Hello, everybody, and whatever time it is for you, wherever you are, welcome to our Cancer pre-full moon webinar. And we will actually have tomorrow an exact full moon broadcast, which will begin at 10 a.m. GMT. And I think I have sent you the link for that. The actual full moon is in the morning GMT, 11:24 and 53 seconds, Universal Time, AM GMT. So we have, another 12 hours or so, a bit more, and we will be coming together in this state of wholeness, which is one of the great themes of Cancer. The wholeness, the whole is seen as one. It's so easy to have the divided perception, where everything looks distinct from everything else, and the relationships between things in the sense of wholeness is not perceived. But perhaps, Jupiter is in Cancer at this present time, and perhaps because of that and the full moon, we can achieve more of this sense of fullness, this sense of the one humanity, the one planet, really, finally, the one universe, the one. This is maybe one of the most, well, maybe it is the most important understanding that can come to us. The theme, of course, I build a lighted house and therein dwell. And the two rulers, well, really there's only one ruler. The moon is not a real ruler of the sign Cancer. It represents the lunar vehicles. And really, it is simply a veil for what is coming through Vulcan for the physical plane, Neptune for the astral, and Uranus for the mental plane. Other than that, Neptune is the ruler. Both the esoteric ruler and the hierarchical ruler, or maybe we should call it transcendental ruler. It takes us not only into the realm of love, but it takes us into the realm of the monad, actually. Neptune has a lot to do with the monadic plane. And all the different signs of the zodiac which have anything to do with the monadic plane, where our spirit is focused, have a strong Neptune, namely Virgo and Pisces, and then, of course, the whole question of the father's home. Neptune again. This is the Jafra illustration, and we see that the main issue here is attachment. The hands are attached. They are grasping for the treasures. And, of course, the treasures cannot really be found on the physical plane or the astral plane. Something higher is needed. The Buddhic realm, where intuition and love wisdom are found, this is what we must learn to attach ourselves to. As a matter of fact, the Buddha really told the story for us. It's all about detachment from desire. And it's a very difficult task, because we do seem to want to cling to what is unreal. And in so many ways, excuse me, I'm going to be coughing a little bit. I apologize ahead of time. In so many ways, Cancer is related to the realm of unreality, to the realm of densification, to the realm of lower illusion. But eventually it is the great ocean of life, it is the great ocean of love, and it is the oneness that is realized when we finally focus our consciousness in that ocean. We have to keep these vehicles clear and clean. We have the huntress here, Artemis, and the Virgin Goddess, and if we don't keep the vehicles clear and clean, we will be driven mad. Anybody who pursued her was driven mad. So it's a question of purification so that there can be a proper reflection of the higher energies within our lower vehicles, and so that eventually our personality does become a lighted house, and we can dwell within that lighted house. But more than that, our soul body, the egoic lotus on the higher mental plane, becomes a lighted house. It has been evolving over millions of years, and its light and radiance content, its color content, its sound content, all of that has been increasing over the many, many years, so that it becomes an object of great beauty towards the end. And it is even more so our truer lighted house, and there is the possibility of focusing our consciousness within it in such a way that we have the higher consciousness of the higher mental plane. We take the third initiation eventually. We're able to focus our consciousness within the egoic lotus at will, and that truly is our truer home than the consciousness focused within the personality, even the soul-infused personality. And one day, you see, Cancer is all about the building of temples. Now, every temple must be built to express a higher energy, but eventually destroyed as well. And there will be also, and there is, the Temple of Ezekiel on the monadic plane, and that can be considered to be a Cancerian unit as well. We're not there yet, of course, in our development, but one day we will be, and even that will be destroyed, liberating the pure spirit, the volatile essence, into the sea of fire on the highest or logoic plane. And Cancer is even found there. There is a creative hierarchy which has not quite made its way to the cosmic astral plane and is focused on the logoic plane, and it is said to be veiling the Christ. So this sign, Cancer, is not just about the dense physical form and the lower worlds. It can be found in terms of all of the temples which we have to use on our path of evolution and eventual transcendence. I'm going to, here's a beautiful image from Francis Donald. It is a temple, and you can see the different portals. It's kind of a zodiacal temple, and the candidate, as the personality, is standing. He is the large figure, and he's standing there before the portal of Cancer. Well, the first incarnation for the entire human race was taken under the influence of Cancer. The central figure is that of the soul, and the tiny figure is that of the spirit. All of them are involved in this sign. Excuse me. Okay. So we enter into incarnation in Cancer, and we are released into the higher worlds, the more heavenly gate through Capricorn, and the esoteric rulers are here. Some of them are the hierarchical rulers as well, because Neptune is hierarchical as well as the esoteric ruler of Cancer. But Saturn is the esoteric ruler of Capricorn, and eventually we will make our way into that higher gate, the gate into life of those who know not death, or know no death. And the first gate, of course, is the gate into life of those who must know death. In many ways, the encapsulation of Cancer, the process of incarnation, is a form of death to the higher consciousness. And eventually we, excuse me, under the influence of Neptune, we regain our higher monadic consciousness, but this time within the lower fields, and not just in that higher field where we were the liberated monad before our descent. A few things that Francis has said. We stand before the ancient Cancerian portal that leads into human incarnation, a kingdom we first entered in an eon long past. Indeed, 21 million years ago for those who have been incarnating on the Earth globe and in the Earth chain, and far longer ago for those who incarnated on the moon chain, where I'm sure the sign Cancer was very powerful. And also, it is the case that some incarnated, took their first human incarnation in the previous solar system, in which the sign Cancer was very powerful for the first part of that solar system, and another lunar sign, a lunar and Neptunian sign, Virgo, was powerful in the second part. On the far side of the temple, the portal of Capricorn opens into the realm of the fifth kingdom. I think you can see that. This is the realm of the fifth kingdom. It's a dual apex of hierarchy and Shambhala, just hidden from view. The soul stands at the center. By emulating its open-handed gesture, the personality depicted in the foreground has begun to take on the quality of that with which it has aligned itself, and thus begins to glow with soul light. And we can see the glowing of the personality as increasingly it becomes a lighted house. It becomes soul-infused because it is emulating the central figure or the soul. That's what all of us have to learn to do, is to emulate that higher aspect of our nature. At least that is a transitional emulation. Eventually, of course, the emulation is of the pure spirit itself. The temple is made up of 12 columns and 12 lintels forming 12 portals. The lintels are embossed with the symbols of the esoteric rulers of the 12 astrological signs. The 6 potencies, astrological axes, that make up the temple's interior space represent the field of incarnated human experience. The temple is of ancient design. It's almost like Stonehenge, isn't it? It seems to go back to Lemurian times. It stretches back to the time of individualization, which was in Lemuria, when the substance out of which it was then fashioned began recording the gradual awakening to soul contact, very gradual indeed, until the 5th petal, really. There is the unfoldment of the egoic lotus, but it is pretty much under the direction of the second aspect of divinity, and not the solar angel until the 5th petal is receiving real attention. Now, after aeons of struggle to integrate the personality and gain soul alignment, its opaque stones have begun to gain the color and transparency of the soul and stand at its center. That stands at its center. We see the whole theme of the lighted house very strongly, and the radiance that is starting to come in this original temple of stone. You'll notice that the temple of light is oriented towards the Cancer-Capricorn axis. We stand, therefore, at the first great gate, the gate into human incarnation, looking towards the second, the gate of initiation. And then here is some material on the cube, which you can read. Just pause this when you get it, and you can read it. The following quote gives further insight into why Cancer is so particularly associated with the realm of form. In Cancer, this living substance, the threefold figure in the image, assumes a triple differentiated relationship to which we give the name of life, which is Aries, represented by the tiny innermost figure, of consciousness, Taurus, the central figure. It's the 1, 2, and then the 3, manifested duality, Gemini. So we have in these first 3 very subjective signs, the expression of life, quality and appearance of life, consciousness and form. And the three are to be blended together and come into outer manifestation in the temple itself, in the outer vessel. Okay. And eventually leading to the great liberation. Well, Neptune is very important here, and Neptune is connected with the Christ. And the fish god, Christ, introduces the water of life into the ocean of substance, and thus brings light to the world. I am the light of the world. Neptune is in its own way a very radiant source, a very radiant planet. And it's not just a question of water with Neptune, but it is also the second initiation, which Neptune is so connected with, will one day be an initiation by fire. And Neptune is said to be the repository of the solar flames. So we have here quite an amazing story of water and fire, purification by water and fire, and Neptune is, in a way, both. Substance is being permeated by the Christ nature, and that has to be the case for all of us. The unveiled Neptune will release the initiate from the thrall of astral glamour. And that unveiled Neptune has very much to do with allowing the Buddhic energy to enter this energy of pure reason, of love, wisdom, of the intuition, which also dispels illusion. And you can read this in greater detail. Just pause there and you'll be able to do that. Okay. All right, friends. I think we're going to begin our work here with our meditation. We're, I guess we're just about entering the day of safeguarding, the 12 hours before. We've been told that the Master is on the lookout, at least it was so, for the students that he had at that time, for their approach during the 12 hours before the actual full moon. We're a little more than 12 hours right now. I think, you know, a bit more like 14 hours, but very shortly we're going to be entering the day of safeguarding where we receive and hold. And we've had our days of preparation with the keynotes of confidence, aspiration, and dedication. And then following, 12 hours after the full moon, I think that's one way to look at it, we will have the days of distribution, registration, the sense of expectancy, and confirmed belief. All right. So let us begin our work together. It's a good warm-up for the actual full moon. It has a bit, perhaps, more astrological emphasis than maybe some of the full moon meditations that you're used to doing. But these energies are ambient. They are available. They are intense during these times, and we can contact them, and we can bring them into our nature and into our group nature, and we can express them for the welfare of the world. Excuse me. So we begin, find a comfortable position in which to meditate. Maybe you're already in that, and we begin to withdraw our consciousness from the personality. It is not what we are, at least at first. It is not. It is our instrument, the dense physical vehicle, the etheric vehicle, the astral vehicle, the lower mind. All of these are the instrument of the soul in incarnation, which we have to understand ourselves as being. We are that soul in incarnation, and we're also the soul on its own plane. But we are the consciousness in extension in the lower worlds. And we learn how to see our instruments and disidentify from them with the old Raja Yoga technique. I have a vehicle, but I'm not that vehicle. It has to make sense, and the eminent psychologist Roberto Assagioli says, do this every day. It's a kind of a purification, this kind of disidentification every day. I have the body, but I'm not the body, etc. I have the feeling states, but I am not these feeling states. I have the lower mind, but I am not the lower mind. Well, in fact, it goes on and on. We're none of the things that we register, and yet we are all of them. So that is the paradox. So we feel ourselves increasingly established as we pull backward, inward. We feel ourselves established within the field of light, love, and spiritual power. We are in the soul realm, at least imaginatively, the soul realm on the higher mental plane. Excuse me. We try to really get the sense of being in that field, which is quite different from our ordinary personality perceptions. Probably we're normally always aware of our body, our energy states, our likes and dislikes, our feelings and our thoughts. We're probably always aware of those things. But now there's something else. We are in the world of the consciousness. We call it the soul when consciousness is focused on the higher mental plane. But it's a big word, soul, and it applies to many different levels. And we're getting that sense of the group soul, of the many who are focused in this way. And we reach out, not in personality, but in soul, towards the spiritually minded people of the world, the men and women of goodwill, finding them in their soul nature, finding the members of the new group of world servers in their soul nature. Really, there's nothing to keep us from contacting them, touching them in the realm of soul. And there's nothing to keep us from merging into the one soul of humanity, which includes all of the many human souls, whether in the body or out of the body. It's one humanity, and especially we realize this in cancer. The whole is seen as one humanity. And we realize as deeply as we can that there is no my soul or thy soul, but only the one soul. Naught is but me, the one being of humanity, the one consciousness of humanity, and beyond. Naught is but me. What a powerful realization that would be if we could make it real. Whoever you look at, imagine whatever human being. Naught is but me, and it goes beyond that too, whatever form. Naught is but me. I would recommend meditating on that every day for just a little while. And our focus is together. We're going to use the mind, the soul-infused mind. We're going to use the will of the soul as it extends into our point of attention on the fourth subplane of the mental plane. The will of the soul will strengthen our point of tension, which we as a meditating group are achieving together. So that we can penetrate via the antakarana, the inner organ, the rainbow bridge, so that we can penetrate into higher realms. We will, as it were, as a group, draw up the energies of the group personality into the point of tension on the mental plane. And using the imagination, we will, each of us, build a two-colored rainbow bridge with the colors of our personality ray and our soul ray. The colors are here: first ray red, second ray indigo blue, third ray green, fourth ray yellow, fifth ray orange, sixth ray silvery rose or light blue, seventh ray violet. These are colors we can use. And each of us imagines a dual-stranded rainbow bridge connecting from our mental unit to the abstract mind, monastic permanent atom, and to the Buddhic permanent atom, the realm of the intuition, and to the Atmic permanent atom, the realm of spiritual will. We imagine this, each of us, and we extend it even further into the symbolic blue-white diamond, which can stand for our monadic presence on the monadic plane. And we get a sense of the quality we're dealing with these two rays. One of the personality ray and one of the soul ray. And this works also for the entire group, because the multi-colored rainbow bridge is moving from the group mental unit into the group triad. One can visualize this cone-like rising eventually towards the blue-white diamond, or however you wish to visualize it. But all the many strands, all the many colors, as we make application together towards the higher energies which can impress us. And we will project across this multiple, many-colored stream, many-colored strands of light. We will send in projection a beam of pure white light towards the points that the Antakarana touches. We do this imaginatively, and we end it in the monad. We will use the second ray word of power. I see the greatest light. We'll sound the Om 3 times, and while we sound it, we'll think, I see the greatest light. And this will make it possible for the group to be impressed by these triadal energies, which are impersonal in their nature. Excuse me. Impersonal. And have the perspective of the planetary logos, his mind, his heart, his will, and the great light, the greatest light of the monad can be visible or sensed in some way, and the light of the triad reflecting that greatest light, the light of wisdom coming into our group consciousness. And here we are in that realm where the elder brothers are found, and this is where their consciousness is focused normally. So in some way, we can participate in that. We can reach them more closely, especially as they are attuned at these times of the full moon. And so we offer our salutations to stand in solidarity with the elder brothers. We begin with our salutations to the Christ. Salutations to the Christ, the Master of all Masters. Salutations to the triangle of masters with whom we work most closely. Salutations to the Master Morya, the head of all esoteric schools and organizations. Salutations to the Master Kuthumi, whose ashram is most responsible for preparation for the reappearance of the Christ, the Lord Maitreya. Salutations to the Master Jwalkul, who has given us the blue books and whose task it is to prepare aspirants for initiation. Salutation to your own Master as you know him to be or conceive him to be. Salutations to the entire spiritual hierarchy of our planet. And we imaginatively raise our thought to Shambhala, center where the will of God is known, and with deepest reverence and in all humility we attempt, identified as a group soul, to attune with the presence of Sanat Kumara standing at the center of Shambhala. And we sound inwardly, silently, a very long Om as we imagine the group and the world servers and the men and women of goodwill infused with his energy, the long, silent Om. The energies are gathering in Shambhala under the law of assembly. At every full moon it happens. And we are making application. We seek to go into the center of the indigo sphere. We are as if a point of light, love, and power. This is what we are as a group, a point. And it is as if we hover above the golden pathway which leads to the heart of the indigo sphere, the indigo sun. We're going to go deeply into this indigo, and there we will meet with the consciousness of Master DK as we attempt to fathom the energies, planetary, zodiacal, which are available to us now. He is such an expert in these energies, and his consciousness can give us deeper understanding. So we are as one point together, and the golden pathway shortens and shortens and shortens, and we move with it. We move with it until we find ourselves imaginatively in the center of the indigo sun. This will add greatly to our understanding of the energies we seek to contact now. We as if become outposts of Master DK's consciousness. Try to feel this. Try to feel the deeper understanding pervading your own. Because we will now take into consideration the planetary energies. The moon, which really gives us Vulcan, Neptune, and Uranus. It represents the prison of the soul, but also the way of transforming that prison into a true instrument. And Neptune, that beautiful deep blue planet, it's the esoteric ruler, opening the emotional nature to the influences of love and compassion. And finally, the transcendental aspect of Neptune, the hierarchical ruler of Cancer, and it imbues the consciousness with the buddhi and also the power of identification of the monad, conferring the realization of oneness. The moon is so close, probably some of you see it now. I know I do as I look out the window. It's dark here. But there's Neptune also, and that we cannot see, but it has been seen through the telescopes, deep, deep, wonderful blue, resonating with its ray 2 monad. So first the moon, which we carry with us all the time, the mother of the form, conveying through the three veiled planets, Vulcan, Neptune, and Uranus, the power to build the form in such a way that these forms prove fit to receive and contain and radiate first the light and love of the soul, and then even higher energies. So not just the prison, but when the other planets take over, the true instrument strength of Vulcan, the sensitivity of Neptune, the brilliance of Uranus. So we imagine that into our vehicles and into the vehicles of the group and groups with which we work, the flow of Vulcanian, Neptunian and Uranian energies occurs, fortifying, sensitizing, illuminating. Because as long as we are working in these lower worlds on a redemptive mission, we have to find ways to transmute the energies which are left over from the previous solar system. And these 3 planets will assist us in that. Until the vibration of all the matter in these vehicles becomes at length atomic. And this will occur at the 4th initiation. We, individually and our groups, need these energies if we are to positively affect the changes that must occur. We need the physical vital strength, we need the compassionate sensitivity, we need the brilliance of original thinking that can solve problems according to the way the archetype would have them solved. So we'll imagine the flow coming in on the note Fa, which has to do with the 3rd aspect of divinity, and we imagine the triple stream coming in on the note Fa and creating in our vehicles and the vehicles of the group and the wider groups the necessary instrument we need to be built into a lighted house which will take the energy of the soul and give it a true place and allow it to be expressed. Now we move towards Neptune in its first phase. We can visualize this deep blue planet conveying the power to refine, sensitize, and calm the astral body, rendering it receptive to the love and compassion of the Buddhic plane. This is the energy that will bring to us the 2nd initiation eventually. It's one of the major energies for that initiation, and it gives the astral body a higher type of expression altogether. Our individual astral body and the astral body of our group and of the groups subject to the inflow of the sensitivity, love, compassion of Neptune. There are areas where we individually need this and our groups need it. We can imagine those. Excuse me. And we'll use the second ray note as the G, the blue note in many respects, as we imagine ourselves and our groups imbued with this divine energy, which will bring the love, the compassion, the tranquility, the receptivity, the sensitivity, the true psychic sense, which is not distorted, but which really reflects what is happening. So we'll use the G as we imagine the energy flowing into our groups and into our individual life from the deep blue of Neptune. But it even goes further, because there is a transcendental aspect to Neptune in relation to Cancer. And it is the power to reveal the all-pervading presence of God in matter form, and its ability to promote complete identification with the heart of life within form. It is the Christ energy. It is the Buddhi, but it's more than that. It's also the monadic energy coming in. And this is the place from which salvation really emanates. Neptune as the Savior, the great second ray monad of Neptune, the divine presence of the Spirit, identification with all things, with all human beings, and with all things, and with all life, all seen as one. The whole is seen as one. Try to get the feeling of that, the realization of that. It's beyond our ordinary perceptions, but it's more real than our ordinary perceptions. And we feel, as we sound the Om, this all-pervading presence, this oneness, this monadic realization. Spirit and matter identical, as HPB has told us, and identical with soul as well, and the three are one, and life pervades them all. The sea of life in Neptune. And Neptune really gives us a direct connection to the heart of the sun, which from one perspective is the soul nature of the Solar Logos. From another perspective, it can be considered the astral, cosmic astral body of the Solar Logos. Following Neptune, we move towards the blue Logos, the indigo Logos, whose nature is that of a heart in a cosmic Logos. Love, wisdom pervading everything in our solar system, every being, everything. God is love, God is a consuming fire, God is the consuming fire of love, pouring through all planets, through Shambhala, through every monad and soul and personality on planet Earth, and really everywhere. The great blue Logos in whom we find our home. Our monad finds its home within the sun. Whatever may be its ray, its home is within the sun. And the wholeness of that great Logos should come clearly to us at this time of the Cancer full moon. The Logos embraces everything in our vast solar system, really much vaster than we imagine. We are a spirit within that great being, and really a unit within that great heart. We have to remember that whatever may be our rays, our astrology, we are a unit within the great heart of the Solar Logos. And the constellation Cancer, it's really not very brilliant in the sky. You have to sort of search it out between brilliant Leo and brilliant Gemini, because in a way it has more to do with the previous solar system than with this one. And it's called the light within the form. That's its quality of light. The diffused light of substance itself, the dark light of matter, referred to in the secret doctrine. It is the light awaiting the stimulation coming from the soul light. This will happen via Vulcan as it veils the moon. And all that was dark in our lower nature will come into its own form of brilliance under the light of the soul, ruled by Leo. So we open ourselves to the feel of the energy quality of Cancer. And we attempt to realize its profound relationship to the third ray of creative intelligence and the seventh ray of magical order, and also, of course, to the Moon, Vulcan, Neptune, Uranus, and the rays they transmit, fourth, first, sixth, seventh. The feel of the energy from the constellation Cancer, which comes through the sign Cancer, this is the energy which is powerful now and will grow in intensity during the next 13 hours or so. And as we attempt to receive and understand the energy of Cancer, we use the mantra, which can relate to the personality, can relate to the soul body, and eventually even the monadic vehicle. I build a lighted house, and therein dwell. And we will take our time now in silence to ponder what it means to us, what it means to our groups, what it means to humanity. I build a lighted house, and therein dwell. Build a lighted house, and therein dwell. I build a lighted house, and therein dwell. The light content must increase. The dark light must show forth its inherent radiance. This is part of our redemptive effort, working in the field of matter which must be etherealized, lifted up into the radiance which is characteristic of this second solar system. Until we all become, in every one of our temples, a shining, radiant temple. Whether it's the tabernacle in the wilderness or the holy place or the Holy of Holies, eventually. I I build a lighted house, and therein dwell. And this can intensify during the next hours before the full moon. And our distributive work can help people learn to build for themselves a lighted house instead of something dark and opaque which hides the light. Eventually the light must shine through the temple. The Pleiades is the hub of it all, and it's very connected with Cancer. Interesting triangle, Pleiades, Cancer, Venus. The Pleiades has a deeply third ray meaning and works through Cancer, which is so connected with the third aspect, and into the Solar Logos, and carrying the stream outward towards our Earth. Really, the moon is the Earth in many ways. This is a third-ray planet which needs to be redeemed. And out towards Neptune, the great transcendental Redeemer, and into the great protective custody of Sanat Kumara, and all of us in our monadic and soul and even personal nature, we are part of this flow. The guardians, the great mother spirit in Cancer. The hierarchy is many things, and it is also the mother. All the signs of the zodiac are found in how the hierarchy expresses itself, and now we are dealing with the mother aspect and the redemption of the mother aspect. So this flows into our realization, our understanding. It's a world in which the one human family is not acting like an harmonious family. There are many family problems. But we can understand the need for lighted consciousness, lighted vehicles. And we can look with the inner eye over the world. So much stress at the moment. And try to see how this theme of building a lighted house could be directed into an area of life which really needs redemption. And try to see with our imagination the redeeming work of building the lighted house. Because there would not be such terrible division and warfare if the house in which consciousness finds itself were truly lighted and translucent and even transparent eventually. So we look out over the world, the whole question of what is really home What is a country? What is a nation? How can the sense of belonging be solved? It's very material right now, that sense of belonging. Can we elevate that so that it is not quite so tied to the earthly plane only? We can see the homes of the world becoming lighted homes, and the nations of the world becoming lighted nations. And we can visualize this as we sound the Om on a second ray note. So many battles over territory, and these must be solved. I build a lighted house, and therein dwell. So we will sound together the great invocation. And as we distribute through the three triple sounding of the sacred word, we will imagine the Cancerian energy benevolently pervading the many troubled areas of the world and adding its beneficence, the redemption of the third aspect by the second aspect. We will imagine this. From the point of light within the mind of God, let light stream forth into the minds of men. Let light descend on earth. From the point of love within the heart of God, let love stream forth into the hearts of men. May Christ return to earth. From the center where the will of God is known, let purpose guide the little wills of men, the purpose which the masters know and serve. From the center which we call the race of men, let the plan of love and light work out, and may it seal the door where evil dwells. Let light and love and power restore the plan on earth. Thank you, everyone. And in another, how long is it? About 13 hours, we will have the actual moment of the full moon. We do have the full moon occurs at 11:24 and 53 seconds a.m. GMT Universal Time. So I hope you're able to join. Yeah, I mean, I know so many of you have your own full moon celebrations and so forth, but please, if you do not, join Tuya, who will be giving the meditation service broadcast, and we'll be having the exact moment of the full moon together. So thank you so much for being here tonight or this afternoon, wherever it is, all over the world. And we're moving towards this lighted house. May our personality become that, may our egoic lotus become that, and eventually may it be so that the Temple of Ezekiel on the monadic plane becomes that as well. Okay, we'll be looking forward to seeing you, tuning in with you. All the very best to you. See you before long. Bye-bye.